Hey, everybody. Welcome to this month's deep dive. I'm Brooklyn and
I'm Linda.
hi, we're so glad you're here. And this month we're going to be going over what's coming up for the month of June in Grow Kids Volume 4. So we're really excited about it. I can't wait to dive in. Those things are a 4-week teaching series from the Old Testament on the Judges. It's called Take the Lead, and it's written by the one and only Linda Moon. Yay! We're so excited. She's amazing. If you don't know her yet, this is her. And a summer event called Escape Room by Robert Gentry, and you're going to love both. So I'm really excited about talking about all of this. We just want to dive in, but before we do that, Linda, what's up? How are you?
I am doing great. Most of you guys know we did launch volume 5 yesterday of Grow Kids and Grow Students, and Grow Groups is coming. We have so many exciting things just coming up on the docket for everybody. So we're really excited. So we're kind of all in this liminal space, living between volumes 4, 5, and starting volume 6. So bear with us, but we have lots of cool things in store for you today.
So much fun. Yesterday's launch over here in Stuff You Can Use Land was so much fun. I don't know if you've heard, but not only are we doing kids curriculum and students curriculum, but we're also going to be doing adult groups curriculum. Yay. And we're all freaking out, and there's all of this tech stuff coming your way, and everybody's having a great panic attack over here. So we're really excited about it. But until we get into that, we kind of got to hang out here because volume 4 is amazing and we need to talk about it, right?
Yes, let's talk about it.
Are you ready, Linda? Are you ready to do this? Let me share my screen and we'll dive into the programming guide for Take the Lead.
Okay. Yes, and Take the Lead is cool. It's got this parade theme. So automatically we're thinking like I'm wearing my Disney ears because that's the first thing I think of when we think parades. Like Disney's always got the most epic parades. Thinking Main Street USA, thinking marching bands, we're thinking Rose Bowl, and we're thinking the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. There's like so many different epic parades. And I mean, we can go even further, right? Like universally speaking, we can go like, Carnival, lots of really good parades out there that you can model the series after. And if you check out our programming guides, Kelly Gentry, also the one and only, has posted some really great ideas for you to check out to try in your space. And they're all so good. For me, I'm thinking like, for those of you guys who've watched Gilmore Girls, I'm thinking like that Lazy, Hazy, Crazy Days of Summer episode. I think it was like season 3, episode 1. Like that's like the aesthetic I'm getting in my head when I think of this series. And so if you haven't checked it out, just check out that intro clip and you'll see what I mean. But it's a really cool series, just thematically, lots of fun ways you can do this. And look at these ideas.
I know. Look at this little garland. I just want it. I want it in my house, even though, I mean, would it be weird to decorate my house every month, like the theme of the series we're on?
Oh my goodness, do it. I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing with the pandemic, right? So
I know.
It's normal now.
No, I should do this. I love this series just because I love a good parade. I mean, it's the greatest to be at a parade. And so many cool things we can learn about leadership, but setting the stage and the environment is really important to bring that element of fun. I also love the invention, this like wagon invention with the pool noodle. I mean, the more things we can do with pool noodles, the better. So
right. It's everyone's weapon of choice here in ministry.
Yes. Okay, so these are all the cool things you can do. Is there anything else we need to know about this programming guide, or are we ready to move on to the teaching?
No, I think that's kind of the rundown. But as always, we love seeing what you do with it because you guys take the ideas and you just go all the way. Like we've said this so many times, but we're so impressed with everything y'all did for Legacy this month. So please keep bringing those ideas. We love them so much. Like so much.
Yes, we were hearing. So, when you do some of these series, just remember when you share like how it's going and maybe some new like take that you had on it, when you share here in the group, other people have the opportunity to not only learn from you, but also you have an opportunity to learn from them. And there might be people in the future who are using volume 4 and they start searching and they find your gold, like at the end of this beautiful Facebook rainbow. So yeah, so make sure you share. We're going to go ahead and hop into the series now. This series, like I said, was written by Linda Moon. You all don't know this, but she pretty much has her hands on everything. And she's just incredibly brilliant. So I can't wait for you to hear all the things that she dreamed up. Let me get to it right here. Okay, Linda, what do you want us to know about this awesome series?
Well, we'll start with what it's about. So I did write the elementary version. Abby Berg wrote the preschool version of the series. Yes, and it's called Take the Lead. And when we chose the parade theme because we're talking about how it's about leadership, because we're talking about the judges, but we're also talking about just like the intricacies of what it means to be a leader, especially for kids. And so we're looking at each of these judges. We're looking at Deborah and Gideon and Samson and Ruth, and how each of them were leaders in their own might, and how they learned to be leaders, and what we can learn about leadership through their example, and in some cases, not example. So we think these stories, they're in the Old Testament and they're judges. So they are a little bit on the grittier side, but we think we did an okay job of bringing it down for the kids so that it's not super gruesome, but we still get the message across because these are important characters to learn about.
Very good.
Let's
see here. So what else do we need to know? We've got all of our big ideas. We've got weeks 1 through 4. We always have our memory verse of the month. Something that I think that gets overlooked is this opportunity to teach kids a version of ASL and sign. Every single month, Sunny Brown goes through the memory verse, and this month's memory verse is Micah 6:8, which a lot of people really love. To quote and to tattoo on their bodies. So if you want to learn the signs for it, Sunny can hook you up.
Yes, it's all there. The video is there. The images are there. Like, please take the time to learn the sign language because it's awesome. There it is.
There's this place right there. What a ray of sunshine.
I know.
Okay, so what's going on in this thing? What kind of activities? What do you want us to know? Are there any special secret treasures we can find in here?
Well, let's go. We can go through them week by week. We'll start with week 1. In week 1, the big idea is everyone can be a leader. And we're looking at the story of Deborah in Judges chapter 4. And the first activity I kind of wanted to bring to everyone's attention was one called Build a Parade. And it's kind of like a life-size version of War. If you guys have ever played the card game War, where you just kind of like have a deck of cards and like the highest number is like the winner, and you just keep swapping cards. And it's kind of like that. And the reason why it's called Build a Parade is because you're giving everybody a card, and then you kind of have kids do like a showdown with the cards, and then like the kid with the lower card has to go stand behind the kid with the higher card. And then you just kind of keep going around the room until you build a long chain. So for this, I know some of us are still online, and a lot of us are maintaining physical distancing. So we do have social distancing hacks for you this month as well. So check those out. And in our social distancing hack, we suggested that you tape up the cards in the front of the room so kids don't have to go around like touching each other and like building a human train. So you can get the cards, and then you can kind of tape them up in order around the room and build like a parade of cards, which is cool. Another way you can do this possibly is just by like marking up spaces, like kind of like how they set up little spots outside of like markets and restaurants when you're waiting, and just have 2 kids face off, and then the kid with the lower card just stands in the first spot, and then and you kind of just build up the spot around the room. And then if the kid in the first spot loses, then they have to like swap with the next player. I think that's one way you can do that if you want kids to still be active. We just think it'd be really fun to, it's really cool because what's about all of these social distancing ideas, it just kind of gets us to look at these games in really new ways. And I think it's just been really helping us exercise our creative muscles. So it's been a really fun challenge for us.
Yes. And speaking of special needs hacks, In volume 4, you can see them kind of in the text or in the teaching modules. Like they have their own PDFs, right, Linda, in volume 4. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then in volume 5, the hacks are all together on one page. So we're kind of mixing it up and making it a little bit easier for you to find. Hopefully that will help everyone in the future.
Yeah,
if you have if you have a hard time finding hacks or even just figuring out what to do, make sure you all talk to each other, because there's so many beautiful ways that people are customizing this stuff for kids with special needs or kids with different learning styles. There's just a bunch of fun ways that you can customize all of this. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. And for those of you who are new to Grow, we do have these things called hacks, which is you take the curriculum and we help you modify it for preteens and kids with special needs. And like Brooklyn mentioned, we are kind of revamping the look a little bit for volume 5. But for this year, especially, we've also added online hacks and social distancing hacks in a separate document for you to take this curriculum and customize it even further for your space. So check those out. And we hope they're really helpful for you, and let us know like how we can make it more helpful for you, because we really love listening to feedback and trying to get better at what we do.
Yes. I'm cruising past coloring pages right now, which I love because there's this particular series has so many rich Bible stories. Is there anything you want to say about the coloring pages?
I mean, you just passed this printable. It kind of looks like a very interesting jigsaw puzzle. And I know there were a few questions about this in the Facebook post, so let me address it really quickly. It actually is a banner, like a marching band kind of a banner. You're supposed to turn it sideways in the landscape mode. And the activity, I think it goes along with an activity called Makings of a Leader. I think it's a reflection module, and you're having kids think about like what qualities they have, and then we're having them swap papers with other kids and for them to kind of identify, well, I think you'd be a really great leader in this area, and just kind of help affirm each other's gifts. And then they can decorate that banner, cut it out, and then the top part where it's kind of jagged like that, you would kind of glue it onto like a dowel or a stick, whatever you have. So it kind of becomes their own little banner that they can hang up. And so I just wanted to clarify that, because I know just looking at the printable, it might not be super intuitive, but that is what you can use that for.
Yes. So if you ever don't know what in the world something is, look at the bottom. There's like a footer at the bottom of every single PDF, and it says Makings of a Leader. So you can go back to the programming guide, or not the programming guide, the elementary guide, and find out that activity or that reflection with that name, and you should be able to find instructions to it. So yay. All right. Cool. So let's see. What else do we got weeks 2, 3, and 4?
Well, here's something that I wanted to draw our attention to, because it's something that does get repeated every week. So we do a very similar thing every week for the Bible story, the big idea, and for this activity called Parade Prep. So let me just go through those really quickly, because once you get it down in week 1, you'll be set for the rest of the month. So for the Bible story, each week you start off with a video that we link, which is kind of like a brief animated video. It's a YouTube video that gives you a little bit of background of each judge. Because again, these stories are really hard to convey in just like a story setting. We thought these videos would be helpful for the kids to kind of get a visual of like who these people are and why they were significant. And then there's like a mini skit that kind of follows up to that video. And so we have dubbed each of the main characters each week, each judge. So it's whether it's Gideon or Ruth, they're the grand marshals of the parade. So they're kind of like the guest of honor in the parade. And so we think this skit would be really fun to do in your space. But again, like go ahead and make it like a Zoom call video skit. These skits totally work for settings like that, because it doesn't require a lot of props, doesn't require a lot of you don't need any sets. It can just be like what Brooklyn and I are doing right now. And I think that would be really fun for the kids to see your leaders in a different space like that.
Awesome. So that would be fun. I love it. And I love the big idea. It's like a dry erase chalkboard or some sort of communication tool. Yeah.
So for the big idea reveal, there's 2 ways you can do this. So So basically what you're doing is you're playing hangman every week with the big idea. But, hangman is kind of not cool. So it's going to be with balloons. So you set up the spaces like you would with hangman, like on a dry erase board or chalkboard, what have you. And then you take balloons. And I think I suggest like 10 balloons or something. And you fill them up with helium just for better effect. And each time the kids miss a letter, you just cut off a string. So like the helium balloon will fly away, hopefully not into the atmosphere, just to the ceiling, and you can bring it down later. Yes, yes, save the earth. Or if you don't have the balloons or you don't have access to a helium tank, you can just draw the balloons on the board and then you can just erase a string or erase a balloon. That would work perfectly fine that way. Or you can take the idea that we have in our preschool version, which is you write each word of the big idea on a balloon, but you don't inflate it yet. And so each time you come to the big idea reveal part, you blow up the balloons in front of the kids and they can kind of see the word appear on the balloon. And then they can just kind of play around with the balloons when you're done. So that'll be really fun too.
So much fun. I'm having a little bit of anxiety for all those balloons that will get popped, but hey, it's worth it.
Yes. And I do think we make a note somewhere with the special needs hacks as well. And for any kid who does have that kind of sensitivity to noise and kind of anxiety about balloons like Brooklyn is having, just be mindful of that and adjust. I know
one of my leaders has a serious phobia around balloons. So I always let her know in advance, hey, we're going to be playing a balloon game tonight. Don't be surprised. You can sneak out when I say this code word, and then she leaves. Back. But then there's also like latex allergies and stuff like that. I think there are latex-free balloons now. I don't know, but maybe just check. Most of the time people eat balloons, they run if they're allergic. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, yes. Lots of balloons, lots of parade stuff, lots of marching and having fun.
Yes, and this last activity called Parade Prep. I forget where it lives in the lesson. It's there every week, so you will find it in whatever week you're in. So it's an opportunity for kids to kind of put together their own little parade act on a song called You Lead by Jamie Grace. And it's a really cool routine that we found on YouTube. And so first things, the premise is they get to practice it every week for a few minutes, and then they're going to present it at the end of Take the Lead. And then you're going to divide them up into groups, like maybe 4, maybe more, depending on how you want to do it. And you're only getting them to do like a few lines, so they're not memorizing the whole song. And it is a little difficult if you look at the dance because, we live in TikTok generation. So, the dances are a little bit more complicated, but I just want to encourage you, don't be scared. And when in doubt, recruit your TikTok preteens or even teens, like other people in your group that you could recruit, or in your ministry or outside your ministry that you can recruit. Like, can you help us learn this dance? And, use that playback speed option, slow down the YouTube video so you can learn it better. And when in doubt, just remix it to your own comfort level. It doesn't have to be what's on the screen. You're like, you know what? I can't get this move down. I'm going to do something different. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And just make it work for your space and your kids will have a blast.
Awesome. Yay. I love it. So yeah, do that parade prep. All this TikTok in a pandemic practice is going to serve you well during the June series. So this is good. Cool. Okay. So are we ready to move on to our summer event?
Well, I think we do. Yeah. Let's look at a few more things in each week. Okay. Just because why not?
Oh, bingo. I forgot that we had bingo in this series. I love bingo so much. Look how pretty it is too.
Yes. And this one's cool because in our series, I think it's called Eraser Bingo. So you're actually doing it backwards. It's kind of cool.
I love it. It's so pretty too. It's just such a cool theme.
The colors are so vibrant.
Eraser Bingo. And then we have this activity called Beautiful Oops, which I don't remember. I know I remember editing it, but I don't remember what happens. What do we do with this one?
Yes. So Beautiful Oops is in, I believe, week 3, and it's from the story of Samson. And the big idea is God helps me learn from my mistakes. And so Beautiful Oops is a book. It's a really beautiful book, just about how all of these little mistakes, like you see on the screen, can be remade into something beautiful. And so we have the kids kind of doing a response to that book and the premise of that book, where they get to actually remake these oops, doodles and stains into something cool. So it feels more like a reading response you would do in school, but we think it's a really good lesson for kids to learn that, mistakes are not just failures or things I can learn from. And we have the same activity in the preschool, but what we suggest, because, it'll be hard for kids to take that and do it on their own. So for preschool, I would take this page and project it onto a screen, onto a whiteboard or something, or just print out large versions of it. And then just ask kids for suggestions hey, you see this blue spot? What do you think it could be? And you'd be so amazed at all the different responses preschoolers give you. And even if it feels nonsensical, you'll be oh, that's cool. And then you can kind of draw it for them using the ideas that they give you. And so we think that'd be really fun.
Somebody please record that preschool moment, because I would love see all of those little responses and the things that they say and you drawing them, because what a wonderful thing. And
yeah,
you're going to invent things and you're going to experience so much joy in this activity. I love it. Awesome. Okay. So that is the end of week 3. We're moving into week 4 now. God gives me leaders I can follow. What do we want to point out in this week?
Okay, so now we're talking about Ruth. So now we've kind of spun the leadership story into a full circle. So now it's about following the right people, and how Ruth chose Naomi to follow, and it was a good choice. So just the couple of opening activities that we have for you. We have the leader lineup, which is kind of like Pictionary, but you do it as a team, and each person kind of just adds one stroke at a time. So that'll be really fun. I'm very excited to see how you all play that one. And then we have one called musical charades, because we love puns. And what is a parade themed series without a spin on charades? So we do that a couple of times. I think we do it again in week 2. But this one is different because it's a combination of musical chairs and charades. So essentially the kids are playing musical chairs while the music is going, but the entire time they're doing an action. So you'll be swimming, and everyone has to walk around in a circle while they're doing the swimming action. And then when the music stops, of course, they have to try to get a chair. And the kid that doesn't get a chair, instead of just being out, we're going to involve them in the game. So now they're the musical chair person, and they get to dictate the action that they do next. So the kid comes up and is pick your nose. And then everyone has to pick their nose as they go in a circle. And so I think it would be a fun way to, because I know kids hate being left out of a game. So this is a way to involve them. We think it'd be really fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, every week in this series, there's a lot of really fun little parade type activities. So when you guys go back and just look through all the things, you don't even have to do them in that week if you don't want to, because they're pretty flexible. But we have some really cool things like shoebox floats, and we have cotton candy relay. We have these popcorn relays for memory verses. I think there's a lot of variety that you can choose from in the activities you choose.
The shoebox relay looks like so much fun. I remember us tossing around ideas about what we could do here. And I remember just feeling let's give kids something that they can do to show how they can lead the way too, and create something new from their own.
Yeah.
And kind of to even just go back to all of these cool stories and imagine all of them being honored on a float.
Yeah,
a little time travel feeling, but more just Bible story memory and seeing how they can be a part of the leadership as well. So
yeah, and it's kind of like a throwback to dioramas for those of you who remember that.
I love that so much.
Yeah, but if you go ahead and Google search shoebox floats, there are so many cool ones out there that you can probably get some inspiration from.
Yes, good. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it. I love the coloring pages. They're just amazing. If you haven't heard yet, for volume 5, all of these coloring pages that you see will be included in a coloring book that you can get so that every single series, a kid can have those coloring pages like intact in one book with the theme of the series as the first coloring page and also with the memory verse coloring page. So they're going to be super, super cheap. I think we're selling them almost close to cost so that everyone who wants to put a coloring book in a kid's hands can. So we're excited about that little new thing coming our way. Great. Okay, cool. All right. So let's move now over to summer event. It's called Escape Room by Robert Gentry. Tell us about it while I'm getting things set up.
Okay. Well, this is our summer event for Grow Kids Volume 4, and it's very cool. It's one of the coolest events we've had. So Robert Gentry kind of took the concept of our legacy series with the time travel and the unusual series with like unusual animals and a little bit of blueprints mixed in there. He kind of took elements of all of our volume 4 series and put together this escape room. So when you look at it, it is a large document. So you might feel a little intimidated, but don't. Just take a deep breath and read through everything. Yes, because we have everything there for you. And it's a lot because it does involve a lot to set up because it's an escape room. Like it has to be pretty intricate. But we think that if you just follow these instructions and go through it step by step, you should be able to put together an amazing escape room that your kids can enjoy. And, like if anybody wants to do like an actual like full on deep dive into here's how we did the escape room. I'm looking at you, Dwayne. Go ahead and do that. We would love to see how you did it in your space. Yes, so it is an escape room. And for those of you who are not familiar with the concept of an escape room, it's essentially a room that the kids need to escape by solving a set of clues. And once they hit some sort of magic clue, or if they solve the last riddle, then they can be released from the room. Of course, we're not really locking any kids in a room because that would not be good. But that is the concept. And I know it used to be like a real big fad, but with the pandemic and everything, people haven't been able to go. But here's a way you can recreate it in your space and get that trend up and running again. So this escape room is divided into 3 parts. And we're following kind of these instructions left by this mysterious archaeologist named Dr. Herman Kessner. And he is going to be leaving these instructions. There's like letters and notes, and kids just kind of have to follow the instructions based on how you set it up. And the cool thing is we provided 2 different tracks. You can do it like a 30-minute track. And so it's, instead of solving all the riddles, there's like, here's a completed version you can do if you want to do like a shortened version of it. And then there's a 60-minute track. And so you can choose whichever one you want to do. I mean, if you can, I would absolutely opt for the 60-minute track, but also the 30-minute track is great for maybe if you have younger kids and they're not able to put together all the clues without a lot of help, then you can be like, just find it in the room. And then when they find the completed blueprint or completed riddle, then they can go from there. But yeah, I mean, as you guys go through and set this up, again, like customize it to however you like. But like Robert created these really cool documents to go along with this escape room experience. And we think it's a really cool. I mean, look at this. Look at this letter.
Yeah, it's such a mood.
Yes. Yes. And
good.
From this ancient village called Gromek.
I wonder where we got the name. I don't know.
It's very, very ancient.
Yeah, I like all the letters. There's so many. There, like Linda said, there's 55 pages to this PDF, but don't let that fool you. A lot of it is the blueprint puzzle pieces. These are all the blueprint puzzle pieces here. Mm-hmm. And then there's clues and letters and all sorts of things that you can print in advance for kids to be able to use.
Yes. Yeah, so there's 3 parts. In the first part, they read the letter and then they build this time travel machine, which, as you saw in the blueprint, it's like a 2-liter bottle with a what do you call those things? Colander.
Yeah.
And then with the pipe cleaners. Like, it's all stuff you can find easily. It's not anything super intricate, although we've seen how intricate your time machines can be. But it'll be easy for kids to find all the pieces, put it together, and then they punch in the year into the screen, which is a calculator. Like, it's really cool. And then in part 2, they go to a different room, if you can set up a different room, and then they solve this code, which I think you're getting to if you keep scrolling, or did you pass it already?
Yep,
there we go. Part 2. Yeah, there are these codes that, they're like kind of like hieroglyphs, and you have to put together this riddle. And once you do, it'll give you further instructions on like what symbols to look for in the space. And that'll give them clues to unlocking some sort of code that'll open a lockbox. And inside the lockbox, there's like further instructions. It's really, really cool.
I'm pretty sure Robert made up his own language for this.
Yeah, so. I'm pretty sure. It's
pretty sure. It's so great.
Yes. Gromeckin.
Yes. Look at all these cool symbols and words and fun things for kids to figure out.
Yeah. So here's what I recommend is pull out this, like, I know not a lot of us print things anymore, but print out this document or just have it on multiple devices and just kind of like spread it out in front of you. Put all the printables on one side, put the instructions on one side. And then like, as you read the instructions, like identify all the documents, because it makes much more sense when you see it. Because if you read just instructions, you're like, what numbers, what symbols, where? But when you see the printables, you're like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. So I think your kids will love this so much. In fact, I think your volunteers will love this so much. Can make this a volunteer activity.
I love it so much. I'm excited for our kids to do this. I apologize. My PDF is not loading. So if you see me scrolling blank pages, I don't know what's going on with Dropbox or my internet connection, but hopefully you've been able to see most of these things. I'm just seeing some blank pages right now. So, there's some more. Here we go. But yeah, like, this is amazing. I love it. I think everybody's going to do such a good job with this. If you do it early before everyone else, you might be the person everyone's asking for help.
Yes.
But if you need anything, let us know, because I think the experts are Kelly and Robert Gentry, and we happen to know them.
Yes, and they're in the Facebook group too, so feel free to tag them and ask them questions.
Yes, that would be amazing. Well, I think that's pretty much it, unless there's anything else you wanted to share about the month of June, Linda. Anything else that was just going to your mind to share?
Oh, no. I mean, I think in addition to take the lead, I would try to do an actual parade. Yeah, I think that would be really fun to do. Just because, I don't know, for me, our church is still online. And so we haven't been able to do anything. So just the idea of getting kids together to do events just seems like a dream. So it's so great seeing what everybody is doing out there, and we'll get there too one day.
Yes, awesome. Well, volume 5, just in case you are jumping in here at the end, volume 5 is out the door. It's ready for you, but we're still swimming through volume 4. All of us are in this together. So we're here. If you need anything, you need advice, help, support, just tag us in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking about, what questions you have. We will get back to you, or you'll just get back to each other. Sometimes you guys are quicker getting back to each other than we are to you. You come up with more interesting answers. So just help each other out. We're here for you. Any thoughts, concerns, anything at all, just put them in the chat and we'll be right there for you. I think that's pretty much it then, Linda, unless you have anything else to say. I think we're going to sign off until next one.
Yes, it was great getting to talk about this with you, Brooklyn.
Yes, it was so much fun. It's such a relief to finally see everything finished. I mean, we have so many amazing humans that work together to make these things possible. And the idea of over 6,000 churches in 35 countries working together to teach children about the stories that happen in the Bible and the truths that you find there, and doing fun, adventurous things together to, help them spend time together and to grow in their spiritual habits. It's just such a dream come true. So we're super grateful. This has been fun. I hope you're going to Disneyland today because you look ready. You look like time. So. All right. Well, hey guys, I'm going to go get some tickets to Disney also maybe, and I'm going to maybe do the same. But until then, we'll see you in July. Elle will be back, and you guys have a great week. We'll see you.
Bye, everyone.